back to today's launch. So we're day 2, and today we're going to focus on something that we hope will make everyone in the community and the open source community in general very happy. So starting today, Encore is fully open source, and we're introducing a lower priced pro plan. So you might be asking, what isn't it already open source? And definitely it is, but there's always been some little caveat to how you can use it in an open source way. And starting today, all of that gets resolved, and we're happy to say it's fully open source and independent of sort of Encore, the organization. So Encore, Andre is going to tell you a bit about what that looks like.
Absolutely. So, as Marcus pointed out, Encore has been open source from day 1. But what we haven't done is, because Encore fundamentally is about making it easy and seamless to deploy to the cloud, we haven't put as much effort into sort of self-hosting as we would have liked, simply because a lot of Encore users felt that, well, the reason we are using Encore is to make it easy. Why would I go and do all this manual work that Encore is sort of philosophically about automating? But we recognize that there will always be use cases outside of what Encore's cloud platform supports, or sometimes you just want to take something and run it on your Raspberry Pi or your self-hosted Kubernetes cluster, or you want to migrate away from Encore's cloud platform. And we think all of these are very reasonable things, and we need to provide better tooling around this. So there were 2 sort of main areas that we've invested in to make this simpler. So let me, I can share my screen and I can do a quick live demo of what this looks like. But I'm going to need you to stop sharing.
Oh, let's figure out how to do that. We're having so much fun learning how to use Discord.
All right. So what we have here, this is a simple Encore application. It's the uptime example application. You can obviously run it. But what you can do with Encore is what we call Encore eject. And what this will do is it will build a self-contained Docker image that you can just take and run. And what you specify here is the Docker image tag. And it will compile it and it will save it to your local daemon. So now if I do Docker run, you'll see that I can just take this and do Docker run. And immediately you run into a problem because Encore says, hey, I need a bunch of runtime configuration, because Encore is about, interacting with cloud infrastructure. And this is, this was already documented and supported, but not in a way that was easy or digestible. So what we have launched is, if you go to our documentation, we've launched a much better and easier way of sort of understanding how to use and self-host Docker deployments. And so if you take a look at this, it goes through a pretty comprehensive guide on how to do all of this. And notably, what you need is actually, the bare minimum is actually fairly small. Most of this is actually, you can just leave it empty entirely. So what you can do is you can take this, you can just provide it with an empty configuration. And actually, I haven't tried if fully empty works, because that's not how it's intended, but let's try it. So you can see that now it's actually booting up, and now it's just saying, hey, I need this Slack webhook URL. So if I were to configure that, it would actually start up. The second part, and so this documentation, which you can find under how-to guides, self-host Encore applications, It goes into a lot of detail on how to configure. Basically, what you need to do is configure each infrastructure resource that Encore is using. So it goes into sort of how you do that for databases and PubSub and metrics and service discovery and all these things, which is fundamentally the things that your Encore application needs to understand to be able to operate in a distributed systems environment. Next, we have the other part that we're announcing today, which Marcus mentioned, is the ability to run Encore without an account. So what I have here is I've actually logged out of my local CLI. So now with the latest release of Encore, it will start by asking you, do you want to create a free Encore account? In previous releases, this was not optional because we felt that actually, since it's completely free, it's much better we can just make everything work automatically. But now it's entirely optional. You can say, no, I'm going to create this uptime example, and then I can do Encore run. And at no point do I need to log in or do anything. I don't even need an account. And the application is up and running. I can start using it. I can call it. I can use infrastructure. All of the things that you've come to know and love from Encore. You do see here on the left-hand side that some functionality that does rely on the Encore platform, like being able to store requests, that is fundamentally storing it on the server side. So it makes sense that, to actually use this functionality, you do need to log in, but you can just hide that and get on with your day. So in that way, Encore is much easier to use without an account. It's much easier to use in a self-hosted way, and we're committed to keeping all of this documented and up to date. And as we add more infrastructure capabilities, all of this will be kept in sync so that you always have a reference guide for how to configure and use Encore in a self-hosted way. Finally, what we are doing, if we jump ahead slightly in the presentation, is what is coming soon is we're working on extending this even further so that the tooling itself is more capable, notably around being able to take an Encore application and produce not just one Docker image, but one Docker image per service, so that it's much easier to take that and just deploy it to Kubernetes, for example. And we've been exploring ways of generating Kubernetes manifests as well. So we're working more and more on sort of providing an easy way of using the Encore open source tooling without relying on the Encore platform. So that's that. Back to you, Marcus.
Yeah. Obviously, we're still investing in the platform, and we think we're creating something that is providing a lot of value. So we want to make that as accessible as possible for everyone to use, including for free. So starting today, we're making a couple of changes. The old hobby plan is now getting rebranded as the free plan. And the change we're making to that plan is that we're removing the cap on how many members you can have. So starting today, you can have unlimited members with a free account. That means basically if you're a big team in an organization that does not want to use Encore's DevOps automation platform, you can now use Encore's local development experience for free and then handle your own deployments using the tools under just demoed. So it sort of opens up use cases that we've been getting a lot of feedback that people want to be able to to use Encore for, but where we haven't really been able to support it because it's all been so connected. So now we're opening up the free usage in a bigger way, and then on the paid side, where you really want to use all Encore functionality and want access to all of the features that we offer, we're changing the price from only being a fixed per seat price that used to be $349 into a much lower entry price, which is $39 per member. So how are we doing that and still sort of being a sustainable business? Well, we've talked to lots and lots of our customers and talked to lots and lots of other companies out there and trying to get a sense for like what value do they see in Encore and how do they want to pay for it. And the answer that we've got is basically that the value is sort of in two main buckets. It's the developer productivity that you get from a lot of the local tools and some of the tooling provided by the cloud platform, including the sort of preview environments and things like that. And it's the cloud DevOps automation part where Encore manages all of your sort of DevOps and cloud infrastructure in your own cloud account on AWS or GCP. And to sort of cater to how you actually use the product, we've split the pricing in two buckets. So the per seat price gets you access to all the tools and preview environments and sort of unlimited environments on Encore's development cloud. And then if you want to use Encore to automatically provision your AWS or GCP environment, there is a $99 per month fixed price per environment, and then a usage-based $1.7 per cloud resource. And that basically means that usage will scale not only with your team, or the price point will scale not only with your team, but it will actually scale with how big of a system you have. And that means when you're just starting out, maybe you're an early stage startup, you'll have a much lower price than before. And then as you scale and you have some more usage and you get more value in a sense from Encore, the price will grow slightly in step with that. But we've done a bit of modeling and we believe so this change will not only make Encore more affordable for smaller companies, it will actually make Encore affordable for most of our current customers. So it's something we really believe will be a huge improvement and connect the price much more to the value you're actually getting from the product. And yeah, potentially we should just move to questions if anyone have any questions. I can actually answer the first question myself. What will happen to our current customers who are on the current team plan? And the answer is basically that we'll give everyone the option to opt into the new plan, or if they want to stay on the team plan with old pricing, they can choose to do that. Depending on your situation, you might have a preference, and we'll also leave the decision up to you.
Fantastic. Any other questions in the chat? Fire away.
Yeah, fire away. None so far.
Crystal clear.
That's where we like to be. So while we wait, do you know any bad jokes?
I only know good jokes.
Okay, let's hear one.
No, that was the joke.
No. I thought I trapped you, but you got out.
That was the bad joke. It's a meta bad.
Extremely meta. Okay, I think no questions for today. Fantastic. So to recap the weekly schedule, we'll be back same time tomorrow. Day 3 launch and another Q&A. the launch tomorrow. It's super exciting. It's more of a feature launch, so tune in for that, and we'll see you then.
Fantastic. Thank you very much,
Everyone,
everybody.
thanks for joining.